guys, so you're thinking about moving to Austin and you've got your eye on a few areas in North Austin. So much on the north side has been growing over the last couple years that there has been so much change going on. Hey guys, this is Daphne Quay, your boss lady realtor here in Austin, Texas. If this is your first time on the channel and you want to learn everything about living, working, eating, breathing, sleeping, and playing in the ATX, make sure to click that subscribe button and click that notification button so you get notified every time we have a new video. We get calls, texts, and emails every day from folks just like you who are thinking about relocating, and I super love it. If you're even thinking about relocating anywhere in the Austin metro or Central Texas, make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an Instagram, DM, email, really whatever works. If you want to move to Austin, I got you. Today, we are going to talk about the cost of living in the Balcones Woods neighborhood. Ready? I'm ready. Let's do this. Balcones Woods is an established North Austin neighborhood that's located right between two of our major highways. It's just north of Breaker Lane, which is one of our main roads, and between 183 and Mopac. Most of the homes in this area were built in the 70s and early 80s. This neighborhood has spacious yards and lots of trees and greenery. Very scenic. So cost of living, I think one of the first things that probably comes to mind to a lot of folks when you talk about cost of living is the pricing of housing or the cost of homes. In Balcones Woods, generally speaking, I tend to see a lot of homes that are priced from like the high 400s up until about the mid 600s. So anywhere from like 470 to about 650 is pretty standard in that area. Along with housing prices, of course, you have the cost of property taxes. I cannot say this enough times, but unfortunately, Texas has some of the highest property taxes in the entire country. Kind of like the going tax rate in Austin is about 2.3 to 2.5% of the tax assessed value. If you don't know what that means, send me a message and I can explain it to you. But in Balcones Woods, the tax rate is just over 2.1%. So what does that mean? That means if you have a home that is, let's say, $530 market value, that property taxes on that home are probably going to be like in the $7,000, $8,000, maybe the $9,000 a year range. Another thing that we have in Texas that I think is kind of a lovely trade-off is that we have really low gas prices compared to the rest of the country. Right now it is August 2020 and gas prices are, I've seen them range anywhere from the 160 to about $1.85, 89 cents, so well below the $2 mark. And that has been pretty consistent throughout COVID, but generally speaking, even like prior to COVID, I've seen gas prices be consistently kind of like at the $2 to $2.30 a gallon. So, and that is a lot less expensive than other parts of the country. I know in California, sometimes they can get up to like $4 something a gallon, and it's just, I guess it depends where you're coming from, but we do have some of the cheapest gas in all of the US. One big thing that I hear from people that are moving to Austin, especially from California, is that electricity in California is ridiculously expensive and that utilities are very expensive. I think the same is true for folks that are coming from the north though, or from states that deal with really extreme weather. I grew up in Minnesota, for instance, and it would get really cold in the winter, like 20 below, and then it would get really hot in the summer, like up to 100-ish degrees. And your utility bill can reflect that as well. I looked up on our Austin utility provider website the cost of electricity, and our cost of electricity in Austin proper is 10.44 cents per kilowatt hour. And it says the average electricity rate in Austin is 4.92% less than the Texas average of 10.98 cents per kilowatt hour. So overall, realistically speaking, I've lived in all sorts of homes in Austin, some big, some new, some smaller, some older, and I feel like the bills are pretty reasonable. I used to live in a house that was 3,000 square feet, brand new, and the highest bill I think I ever got in the middle of the summer was about $250 for AC. Water, there were like 3 of us living there at the time. I want to say water was like maybe $60 a month. It's really pretty affordable and pretty reasonable overall. So if you have a house with a yard in Austin and you don't want to do the lawn maintenance yourself, because it does get really hot, lawn maintenance and landscaping is really reasonable. Let's say, for example, you have a yard, like a spacious yard that's about a little less than a quarter acre in size, which is just still really big. You can get somebody to come mow that for you once every week or every couple weeks for about $40 to $50 per time. That's a pretty standard rate throughout. I've had different lawn guys come. I used to pay $45 for 1 yard, and now I pay my lawn guy, I think it's $35, and he comes twice a month. So really reasonable. Of course, depending what you want done to your yard and what kind of landscaping you want, maintenance, it can range, but it's much more affordable than other parts of the country. One thing that I think Texas is really well known for is its food. And we have a lot of fresh produce, really good meat. We have just excellent quality food overall. Of course, it depends where you shop exactly, but if you go to a Texas store, it's gonna be pretty good quality. One of our more popular grocery stores is H-E-B, which is ubiquitous in the Austin area, and it's very popular and it's wonderful. Groceries generally are pretty affordable. I remember when I moved to Austin from Minnesota, I remember I could buy a pineapple in Minnesota for $5. When they're in season here, you can get a pineapple for like less than $2. The only thing that does get a little bit expensive is meat. Of course, I think that's probably true most places, but it's still a lot less expensive than California, less expensive than in New York, because we have so many farms here that have fresh meat. Generally speaking, I asked a couple friends that have families and friends that live by themselves. I have a friend who has a family of 5. She said that her grocery bill is about $200 per week. I don't know what they're buying exactly, but if that helps you. Then I have another friend who lives by himself. His grocery bill is about, what did he say, like $80 a week, but he's very much a minimalist, so I don't know how much I would trust that. Personally, I think I spend about $120 a week on groceries. So I hope that gives you somewhat of an idea of what groceries cost here. You've more than likely already heard that we have a lot of restaurants. Austin is definitely a foodie town. People love to eat, they love to explore, and they love to try new food genres and combinations, and all sorts of food is welcome here. To give an example of what a really nice dinner costs in Austin compared to, I guess, other parts of the country, I was talking to a client who is now a friend who came from the Bay Area. He said if he wanted to go to a really nice dinner in the Bay Area with a bottle of wine and everything, that could easily go $250 to $300 for 2 people. Here, if you get a really nice steak dinner, you're probably looking at about $50 per plate. If you go to a more casual restaurant, depending on what you get and who you're with, that can generally be about $15 to $20 a plate. I think across the board, if we're not considering like California or New York or any of those extreme places, it's our cost of dining out is pretty comparable to the rest of the country. I hope this video helped shed some light on the cost of living in the Balcones Woods neighborhood, as well as Austin in general. Like I mentioned, I'm a local realtor here in Austin, Texas, and I do tons of videos similar to this one, along with more information about this wonderful city. If you're even thinking about moving to the Austin area, make sure to give me a call, send me a text, shoot me an email, send me an Instagram DM, like really whatever works. I got you. If this is your first time on the channel, and if you want to learn everything there is about living, working, eating, breathing, sleeping, and playing in the ATX, make sure to click on that subscribe button and click on the notification button so you get notified every time that there's a new video. We get calls, texts, emails every day from folks just like you who are thinking about relocating, and I'm super duper excited to hear from you.